All right, we are live. I'm just triple checking Instagram real fast and then we'll get going. It should
There we
tell us how
go.
many people are in here, which is one of my favorite parts about StreamYard. Okay, Instagram popped up quick today.
Let's
Let's
get it.
go. We love it. So yeah, I will be monitoring, like checking the comments on Instagram. So I have that window open since it cannot pull in.
Okay.
All other comments as people join, we'll go ahead and pull into the chat. But let's go ahead and
Okay.
get started. Well, everyone, welcome back to episode 4 of our Trailblazer chat series. I can't believe we're already on episode 4. Time has flown, but we are back with our next guest. One of my favorite souls. I know I'll be tweeting that. But really just so grateful to have you, Zona Jetson. So I'm gonna do a little introduction about Zona, about his incredible platform, Been Ill. And if you are new to the Trailblazer Chat series, it is a monthly series where we feature one incredible trailblazer, make an incredible impact across music, arts, entertainment. And luckily, I have a long list of incredible friends of mine who I have been bringing on each month. So, super excited to bring on Zona next. As I mentioned, he is the founder of Ben Ill, one of my favorite music platforms. Just no, I'm not biased, but my favorite. Really doing great work to champion emerging creatives, including artists, producers, and also amplifying community. I know we talk about community. I know, Zona, you even tweeted like community isn't just a buzzword. So I'm sure we'll chat
Exactly.
about why community is so important later on in our conversation. But super excited to have you on this series today. So I'm going to pass the mic, let Zona do a quick introduction, and then we'll kick it off with our questions.
All right. Well, my name is Zona. Uh, Jazz, thank you so much for having me on here. We go back a few years, but yeah, my name is Zona Jetson. I sit in Houston. Um, I've been working with artists for a period of time. My day job, I am I'm a risk manager, and that's what I do during my day job. So essentially, I just like speak to a bunch of executives and CEOs and CFOs on a regular basis and help them manage their risk and stuff like that. And what my passion is truly helping artists and creatives, and that's what I've been doing for the past few years. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But happy to be here.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. So excited to get through the questions that we have ready for y'all. If you are tuning in as you are joining live, if you have any feedback, questions, comments for either Zona or I, you can go ahead and enter them in the comments on the platform you are streaming from. So I know we got folks joining us from Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. So welcome live. So feel
Drop
free,
them.
blow up the comments, please, as you join. Let us know who's here because we can't see unless you tell us. So, yes, let's go ahead and like kick it off with
What
the
up?
first question. But I see like 7, 9, 10 people already on, so I know more folks will join as we go along. So. I always love to start off just so everyone can get to know you a little bit better. Can you
Mhm.
tell the community a little bit more about you, where you're from, kind of a little bit more of like what you do for work, all of those good things, so they can learn a little bit more about who Zona Jetson is outside of Ben Ill, because we gonna get into all of that.
Yeah, well, like I said, my name is Zona Jetson. I'm from Houston. I went to college in Houston. I'm a Cougar, University of Houston, go Cougs. I'm a double Coug actually. So got my bachelor's there. Then I went back and got my MBA a few years ago. I'm a family man, like God first, family second, then everything else comes after. And I love food. I love to travel, and I just love doing. I love helping others and uplifting others in any way that I can. We may have a little lag. Jazz? Ooh. All right, looks like it's just me. What up, y'all? We'll wait to Jazz. We'll wait for Jazz to get back up in here.
All right, y'all. Thank you for your patience. I should have also put the preface of my mountain living. I should have put the preface of my. For everyone who does know me, they like know, but I don't complain about anything. So we back. So that should be our only blip.
You,
But it does
you
cut
got to get a
out.
Starlink from Elon.
Look, I'm about to, Zona. I was talking to my family. I was like, look, this is happening a little too much. It's about time for me to just do my Starlink. So we gon' have to do that. But I was like, I just flow with it at this point. It loves me enough to come back on. So luckily I'm getting back into my first question and more people have joined live. So if you are
Okay,
just
but
now tuning in, we are about to kick off with the first question for Zona Jetson, founder of Ben Ill. So I know, Zona, you were talking
what
more
up?
about your background, really just setting the stage for the conversation. So since it cut off, if we could go back to the first question of just resharing a little bit more about your background, where you're from, how you started your path into music, and we'll go from there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So again, my name is Zona. I'm from Houston. I've been in Houston, for quite some time. Actually, I'm from Arizona originally, but I've been in Houston for like 20 years at this point. I'm Houstonian. My dad's from Houston. I graduated college here. I went to the University of Houston. Go Cougs. Um, and then I went back. I got I double majored in finance and marketing, and then I went back and got my MBA from the University of Houston as well. And yeah, do my day job. I'm a risk manager, so I pretty much just talk to executives at a high level, from publicly traded companies like CFOs, CEOs all day, help them manage their risk and their profile. And what my passion is helping out others and really help others, people achieve their dream jobs where and when I can.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I love learning more about how everyone has ventured into music, arts, and entertainment. Everyone comes from a different walk of life, and everyone has a different story to tell, but that passion and love for music and creativity is always at the root. So just love to hear that. So chatting Ben Ill, I would love for you to shine a light on the platform. What inspired the creation of Ben Ill? What is the community and the brand that you are cultivating all about?
Yeah. So I've always been involved in music in one way, shape, or form. Like I was in band at a young age. I got a scholarship to play in the band. I was in the TSU, the Ocean of Soul band, which is the HBCU, before I dropped out. And I've produced for like a number of years for like some independent artists. So I've always been close to music, and I've had a love for it from like a very young age, whether that's listening to music with my dad or like his catalog of like tapes and records is insane. So I just feel like I've developed an ear, and over the years I've been seeing what artists or a lot of artists struggle with, a lot of the same issues, right? And there hasn't been a platform to my knowledge that highlights artists that aren't destructive on a on a large basis that I've seen, right? And quite frankly, there aren't a lot of large platforms that highlight artists, period. So like there isn't a BT or MTV or like a 106 and Park or TRL or anything like that these days. Like there's the Revolt TV, which is like lovely to see, like they're rebranding and what they're doing, but there hasn't been an artist or something that highlights like more independent artists. So honestly, God put this Ben Ill on my heart like probably 10 years ago. And, you know, probably a few years after that, I got it trademarked, and I've been slowly but surely been easing into it because time has, you know, God has granted me the time to put forth more effort in building the brand. But the brand is essentially to highlight dope artists that aren't destructive and do that in a variety of different ways, whether that be through, you know, continuing to build a community, and just looking for ways, whether it be through like the playlists and things like that, in which we can continue to grow and develop them.
I love it. I love it so much. And just want to say, like, from being able to work with you from what, like 2022, we were working together, took a little bit of a break,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing the revival and this beautiful rebrand and everything that you've been doing over the past like month and a half or so, just with, I know, Beard and Elsie have been curating some incredible playlists, which I've been tapping into. So, and
For
always
sure.
just champion emerging artists and creatives like every single day. So it's so great to see that, the mission hasn't changed, and you have had this vision on your heart and in your mind for so long, and it's just so great to one have been
Mm-hmm.
able and to have the opportunity to be a part of the magic that you're creating, and to just see that like connection, community, and conversation. I call in my 3 C's, y'all. But it's so important, and I know that's
For sure.
something that you focus on so much just with everything that you do with Ben Ill on the platform. So kind of diving into Ben Ill and kind of, I know you referred to it as season one. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
what from like 2021, 2022, prior to taking that short hiatus, what were or who are a few of the artists that you've got to have conversations with, spotlight on the platform, and that you really got to build community with? I know there's a lot of great artists that you're in collaboration with and community with that you've been championing both publicly but also behind the scenes that you established these relationships with like years ago.
For sure. Yeah. So I think to your point, season one really set the foundation, and it was more artist centric and artist focused. And we highlighted artists within a variety of different ways. But the artists that that come to mind, there's like a laundry list of them, right? But whether it be from like Pat Jr. to Chris Patrick to Dende to Byrie, like Nate Joel, Zay, Cam Hayden, Kieran the Nomad, Corrali, Payne. There are just a ton of super dope artists that have, you know, that we've been highlighting for a number of years that are coming into their own and just continue to grow. And that like I'm super proud of to even have any affiliation with whatsoever, and like their support honestly means a bunch, because we want to be here without them, because that community truly is everything.
Yes, shout out to the community. Obviously, you named off so many of my faves, including Pat, of course. Shout out Pat. Um, and I
Yeah,
know, like, it's so great to see and to be able to collaborate with like-minded people, which is how I came across the platform in the first place. It was just fan of
mm,
music, fan of music, and I was like, oh, you're like the same artist that I'm spotlighting. Like, let's talk. So I don't even know when we first connected, Zona, but it feels like ages ago now. But it's just been so great to see that it's like you said, it's not just a buzzword. I think I say that like every single day. Community really is about the relationships that you cultivate and how you show up, for others over time. So,
mm,
I know you're a big believer of like what you give back, and it's going to be
for
so
sure.
great just to see the community that you're cultivating, and also then it was a place for discovery. So just really excited to see where the platform goes next, which leads me to my next question about like this next season, Zona. So really, I know you and I have had our own one-on-one conversations about your vision
Yeah.
for the platform and really what you hope to focus on, for the rest of 2024, but also as we head into 2025, which is crazy to think about. But we in a whole new era. So can you tell us
Yeah.
more about what the folks in the community can expect, or what we can hope to see as we enter this next season? And yeah, I know the playlists have been back in action, but I know more magic's brewing.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a bunch in the works. And just first and foremost, Ben Hill is a network, right? And both in the literal and the figurative sense. So season one, like I said, was really just to bring together a whole bunch of dope, incredible artists that, in my mind, are the future of the shit, right? And moving forward, we're bringing together curators because just in the time that I had to see where things were and how we can push things forward, the next level is truly tapping curators and building that network of community because they're the ones that push the narratives and pretty much expand the audience base, right? And that's their fans and their followers are fans as well, right? So um, with season two, we're really focused on building that sense of community among curators. So that's when you mentioned Elsie as well. There's Adam Dash, Beard. There are just like a variety of different curators that we're bringing together and having come together under the brand. Because one thing that in my discussions with a bunch of curators and artists, the one similarity is everybody's chasing the algorithm, right? And that is tiring. And I think that people should view things like their rollouts as seasons, whether you are a curator or artist or even just a creative, right? Because if you're on go mode and you're chasing the algorithm 100% of the time, at some point you're gonna run into burnout. And I feel like everybody's either encountered that or they're on the cusp of it or they're recovering from it. So having a brand or a network behind them where they can do what they do and work for their season and put in and build their brand, which everybody should do because this is one of the only times in history where you can actually build your own brand with nothing but like the internet connection. But you can do that, and then when you do need that time to take upon yourself and to look back at things, and then you can come back with a fresh pair of eyes and come back bigger and better. The brand will still be there to uplift everybody else, and just you'll essentially be plugged back into where you were, even at a higher place where than where it was when you left. So I think that combining those two things, now we have the artist community, and then building that with the curator community is really what's going to set season two apart, and it's just going to help expand Ben Ill and all the artists as well to just a much larger playing field. So there are like three pillars that we're really focused on. One is obviously like the artistry, like the music is paramount, right? And then
Yes.
like we want to continue to inspire because I feel like that's one thing, and especially as far as being like pushing forward artists that aren't destructive is concerned. From my perspective, music is really the easiest way to brainwash a culture, and there's just been a ton, like a ton of destructive music that has been pushed down our throats essentially for a while now. And I think that 2024 really has ushered in a new regime. And it's really we're at like in a renaissance period where whether even before the whole K. Drake situation popped off, right? Like people are paying attention to lyrics again, and it's not just vibes. And that's a beautiful thing to see. And I think we'll continue seeing that moving forward. So just continuing pushing
Oh,
as we continue to educate, whether it be independent artists, because there's just so much information that people don't know. And honestly, a lot of independent artists, like I think I've probably every independent artist that I've talked to at some point has been scammed Um,
That's a
and
whole
it's just
other
to
thing to talk about.
yeah, exactly. And I think that there just was an abundance of information that artists need to know as well. So that's another thing that we're going to lean into is just to, you know, lean or to like to work with some people to help educate, whether it be about like sync deals or just like deals you should take, or like maybe a lawyer would come in, you know, to just help speak and strengthen the community. So I think those are just the three places that will continue to do that.
Yes, you touched on some beautiful stuff. One, just being able to like talk to you over time and being able to see the vision. I'm so excited for everything that the team is working on bringing to life across the three pillars. But I know you touched really about bridging the gap between artists and curators, and you're we're onto something special. So just really
Mhm.
excited to see where true partnership and collaboration can continue to go and continue to take us. Like, I just truly believe, we rise faster, we rise stronger together. And I think it's the reason
For
why
sure.
I'm so glad I'm part of, the Ben team, because I'm like, no, this is what it's truly about. And just being able to really, like, how can we, add the best value? And I think touching on the last point of bringing in folks who can speak on other aspects and facets of the music business that artists and their teams need to know, because
Hmm.
like you said, there is a lot of information out there. It's so much to the point that it paralyzes a lot of people, like what's real, what's not,
Right.
especially in the age
Yeah.
of chat GPT and AI, which is a whole other conversation. I can't wait to have I'm gonna have something on AI and my thoughts on all of this. But
For sure.
yeah, it's just like there's just so much real information that artists need to know to really not just be able to create a hit record or get on a playlist or to get signed to a record label. That's
But the
part
business,
of it, but the business is
yeah.
it's multi-layered, and there's just so much to learn. Like on the scam part, like especially as I am a marketer as well, I hear that with everyone every day on my calls. Everyone
Hmm.
has been scammed, and it breaks my heart, which is why I'm also here and built my own agency so I can give artists, creatives, brands. No, here's the real. Give you the tools,
Right.
the resources. Now you can take it, create magic with it, but this is what the real tea is.
Hmm.
And there are no shortcuts. You can't cut corners. Like, you really do have to know. So I'm excited for us to be able to educate and provide that like value to artists of and bringing in more folks to have those conversations with. So
Yeah.
I'm geared
100%.
up for season 2. All of the artists watching, y'all, if you do not follow the Ben Ill socials, please do. Tap in. Definitely just getting started in so many ways of the
For
much
sure.
bigger vision, and really just excited to see where everything is going to continue to go.
Yeah.
Um, so talking a little bit more about music, because I got to ask this question.
Okay.
Zona, I know you have a post on the culture, and you listen to a lot of great
Hmm.
music. And I know you've been sharing out some
For
of the
sure.
artists that you've been listening to and that you've been loving. So, who are some artists at this moment or that have been on repeat for you that you can't stop listening to that the world needs to hear next? Who's on your radar?
Okay. So there are a lot as well, right? One, and he has like a project coming, and you work with him, Geogenesis. Like his his project that is on the way is incredible. And like
Yeah.
even everything that he has to date, like I'm just excited for everything that he is doing. So y'all got to check out Geo, tap into him for sure. D2X, I just got plugged in with him probably like a month ago or so, and went back and checked out his catalog. I know he has a tape coming out like next month that's supposed to be incredible. Like I know the executive producers on it, and like I'm super excited to see that. Drew Kelly has been killing it for like a long time. Kieran the Nomad, I know he has like some stuff that's coming out as well. Dante Thomas just dropped an Apple a Day, which
Yep.
is an incredible project. I think it came out like earlier this month. So them set such as well. Like you're tapped in, you're tapped in too.
I'll
But
be tapped
set
in, but we
such
gotta let the other people know.
uh, is incredible as well. So I think there's just like a variety of different artists, especially like emerging artists. And as far as like stuff that I've been listening to lately, like that Catch album, he's like one of my favorite producers, and that album has definitely been on repeat. The No Worries album is incredible as well. So there's just a bunch of music like release Fridays has been crazy. Like just trying to go through everything because there's just not enough time, honestly. Like there's not enough time to get through everything, but there's just so much good music, and I feel like this is probably the best summer in music in a long time.
Oh, I agree. You dropped. Everyone was like, "Yeah, I need to tap into a few." I'm like behind on my music, y'all. So I've been trying to catch up, but yo, you have a pulse unlike any other. And I know we listen to similar artists. So yes, Geogenesis project, y'all. I've had the opportunity to help create some magic on the marketing side for the rollout. So stuff's coming. Stuff is coming. So yeah, y'all
Yeah.
tap in. Yo,
Oh,
so much
before I
great
forget,
music. Yeah.
Millie Aviana, she has a project that's coming out too that's like
Ooh,
incredible. So
let's
yeah,
go.
gotta definitely keep up with her and tap in with that when it's done and when it comes out.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to hear some new music from Lily for sure. Such a powerhouse talent. So excited to hear that we have new music on the way. I can't wait. I can't wait. So now,
Yeah,
Zona, like, look, like we got the post. We got the post. This is why we here. This is why we do what we do. A couple more questions for you. So I
yeah.
know you have mentioned that the vision for Ben Ill truly started like a decade ago. So you're not
Hmm.
new to this. This is something that, I just truly believe like when it comes to vision and when something doesn't leave your heart, you can put it on a little pause, hiatus, but come back to it. It's just I know certain things are destined and just the fire you have for the just the platform and the community that you're cultivating, artists, and like no, like you truly care.
Hmm.
I know you know better than anyone that creative entrepreneurship isn't easy. It takes a
Hmm.
lot of grit, it takes resilience, it takes really years to bring a vision to life. And I
For
know that's
sure.
a conversation I have with my own artists, my clients about, just like Nipsey said, it truly is a marathon. I have my days. I be telling people, y'all, I have my days, my weeks where I'm just like, whoo, I don't know. But that vision, knowing that North Star is really what keeps me going. So I wanted to ask you, Zona, what is, like, when it comes to creative entrepreneurship, navigating life's challenges, ups and downs, what's a challenge that you've had to overcome along your journey of bringing Ben Ill to life, growing the platforms, etc. Any, gems that you have for other artists or creative entrepreneurs, either building their own brand or platform or thinking about doing it, because we're definitely in the agent space where there's so many more creatives coming out, whether they're a curator or there's so many new music media platforms popping up every day at this point, it feels like. And
Hmm.
I think it's really freaking cool to see more people that are really passionate about music, other like-minded folks. So along your journey, what are some of maybe a challenge or two you've had to overcome building the brand and the platform?
I mean, honestly, I think the biggest challenge has really just been getting out of my own head, right? It's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, like if God puts something on your heart, then you just have to go out and get it. Like sometimes I feel like Noah, because it's been like I said, over a decade plus of like the initial idea, and it's just been moving slowly but surely. And I think that's something that is kind of lost because we're in this environment where everything needs to happen and needs to happen now, right? So I think just being able to move forward and act on whatever you feel you need to do and don't care, don't really worry about what anybody else thinks about it or if it's taking too long or perfecting things because if you try to wait for perfection, the thing that you're trying to do will never happen because nothing is perfect. So I would just say like takes a play out of the Kenny Beats playbook and don't overthink shit, because at the end of the day, like that will be like the biggest hurdle. Like, at least that's been the biggest hurdle for me, and even like bringing entering season 2 with Ben Ill, of having like that downtime and coming back. The like planned, certainly a lot of different things. Some things fell through, and just being able to navigate and pivot and to pretty much like change and pivot on a dime when you need to, because that's the way the world works, right? Like things aren't going to go exactly as planned. You can have a plan, like like Mike Tyson says, like everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right? So, have your plan, make sure that you strategize, but at the end of the day, be okay with being able to change that and just move with whatever you're presented with. That's probably would be like my 2 cents of what, how I address any issues, or my biggest hurdle is just actually doing it, because you can paralyze yourself with the fear of not being good enough or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I think I call it now it's like I call it inspired action now. It's like, how can I continue to take it inspired action every single day towards my goal? Because like you said, like you really just got to get out of your own head and just do stuff. Even when it came to launching this interview series, I was like not about to do it. I was just like, maybe I need to wait. Maybe I need to wait until I do this or that. You can talk. Your brain will talk you out of everything. Like, so
Everything.
really everything. Like, our brain it's amazing. We love it, but its job is to protect us, y'all. So it will find ways to be like, keep you comfortable. Oh, I don't know. This feels like too much of a stretch. But that fear, like, I don't say I'm fearless, but I have pretty much been like, every time I like kind of fear it, I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna do it. Because usually there's something great that comes on the other side of just moving and like starting to take that action. But you truly just have to get started and trust that it's okay not to know how the plan, the vision is going to come together. Like, I feel like I'm in phase 1 of my master plan with my agency. I tell people, like, I have a lot that I'm going to do. But I also understand
Same.
that, like, the most important thing is taking the best next right step. If you just like kind of do that day by day, it's compounding interest, and it's like it compounds over time. So I think really getting out of your own head it's so crucial. And I always talk about limitations, because it like goes, limitations are fears. And I'm just like, artists, creatives, if you're an entrepreneur, if you want to start your own business, I know there's so many artists who really truly want to stay as independent as possible. So it's even in the sense of like, it's a journey, and we hold ourselves back in so many ways. So I tell all my artists and my team this, but inner affects the outer. So like you really kind of just got to get out of your own head and just be able to get started, and put pen to paper and then take action on your goals. And yeah, like hearing from you and having a vision for Ben Ill that spans like a decade, I'm always so humbled by my journey, because I'm just like, for at least launching my own agency, it's still year 1. So I'm like a little baby, and I'm just like, cheers to it, because I'm like, there's a long way to go, but just knowing that, hey, I'm taking the steps, all great things are going to continue to align. I think this having that vision for yourself and your North Star that you can go back to even during the harder times in life, because life will life for everybody. And your 20s, your 30s, like we all experience things, but it's really about like, how do you continue to persevere on that vision despite the odds and obstacles, because we will come against them.
Right. And
So
that, for sure. And that's the importance, honestly, of Ben Ill as well, because it's a mentality, right? And like you've been ill because you've been doing this and you had something on your mind and you are pushing through it. And I think that's something that everybody that is striving for better can relate to, right? So, whether you are an artist or a producer or anybody in the creative like realm, you have those doubts, and you have to be your biggest advocate at times to really push you to that next level. And I think that's another way that we can continue pushing forward with the community element as well. And that's why I said I think the inspiration piece is like super critical. Like we just posted today, like the Rhapsody and LC interview of like, you know, do you have to know where to draw your line as well, right? Just as far as you know, what you're willing to do, and if you're willing to sacrifice certain things in order to get that end goal, or what you're not willing to sacrifice. But you know, just being true to you, I think is really critical, and it's of the utmost importance, because at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror, and the money comes and money goes, right? But you have to be able to go to sleep at night with what you do.
Yeah, no, gems, Zona dropping gems. No, I love having like, and I know I could talk to you for hours and hours, but I have
For
one
sure.
question, and it's really for the
Yeah.
community. We have
Okay.
over 50 people that are tapped in live. So shout out
Oh,
y'all.
what up, y'all?
If you do have any questions for Zona or myself, feel free to put them in the comment box on the platform you're streaming from. If you're on Instagram, I'm looking at them too, so I can check and see if y'all are in there. But if you have a question for Zona before I let him go in just a few minutes, just let us know. But while I wait to see if any questions come in, I do have one final one, and it's the one I always end on to really close out these
Okay.
conversations and to be able to just sprinkle some more gems for our community. So I know that you are pretty tapped in with artists as well, that you help them on the creative side, just really champion them like with insight and guidance, much like myself. So what are 2 to 3 pieces of actionable advice, anything that they can do, or gems that you would give to rising artists, creatives, entrepreneurs?
Okay. The first one we kind of touched on earlier, but it's really have a strategy and put things out there that you want to see, because there are so many times where I see artists specifically that, you know, they put out a great project, but then they don't execute on it, or the maybe like the visuals maybe aren't as engaging as they could be. And at the end of the day, like, I think you really have to put yourself in the seat of like a consumer, like create
Mhm.
content that you want to see and you would engage with, right? Versus it just, you know, being something that may be easier to do, but that won't have the engagement, right? So
Yeah.
just doing that, I think first and foremost would be incredibly important. Also, you so many people are high on giving grace to others, but I think it's incredibly important to give that same grace to yourself, especially in the creative
Mhm.
process. And I think more people should do that, and it will help just benefit you from like a mental health perspective, and everything, to give yourself the same grace that you give to others. Um, and lastly, but probably the most important thing, is just don't give up on whatever God puts on your heart, because at the end of the day, you know, if that will is there, and that if there's a will, there's a way. Like, that's a true statement, and you know, whether it may take 5 years or 10 years, or it could happen tomorrow, like it, it's all divine timing at the end of the day, and you just have to do what sits right with you, like I said before, and what you can be happy with, and you know, whatever that may be creatively, and if you're happy with it, then the rest really doesn't matter. Like, everything else is just noise, right? So first and foremost, just create things that you like and that you want to see more of, and you know, the rest is history.
I have nothing to add to those gems. I'm like, yes, Zona, let them know. Let them know. Because I could go off about the strategy and the plan all day. Catch me on Twitter, y'all.
Same, same.
We can talk about that. I'm doing a masterclass soon all about that though. So that's gonna come. But Zona, no, this has been such a great conversation. I don't know if I've seen any other additional questions come in, but you know what? We're pretty much at time anyway. So I
Okay,
am going to
perfect.
let you tell the people where they can support you, where they can interact with you, where they can find you, and then we are going to wrap up this conversation.
Okay, yeah, you can support, or you can follow me at It's Really Zona on any social media platform, on IG, Twitter. I'm primarily on Twitter, on X, like 99% of the time. But it's Really Zona on any platform. Ben Ill ENT is the same on every platform as well, to support the brand, support other artists, to support other creatives, and to continue building the brand that we're building. We're definitely going to continue pushing the envelope going forward with interviews and just creating and producing more content. As we wrap up the year and continue to help and work with artists on rollouts, and we just want to continue to grow the business and to grow the brand and to grow the community. And the best way to do that is just tap in. So Vanilla ENT, that's where we at.
Let's go. Zona, thank you so much for joining us on today's conversation. To wrap this up, thank you for everyone who has joined us live. We had over 50 plus insiders in the chat and in the room. So,
shout out to y'all.
I know we're streaming across multiple platforms. So it's just great to see. If you're catching us on the replay, welcome. Hope you've had an amazing time and caught some gems. Other than that, we are going to wrap up this month's conversation. We'll be live again in July. These are a monthly series. So if you know any other Trailblazers we should spotlight across music, arts, entertainment, please send us a DM on the Unearthly socials. And yeah, thank you once again, Zona, for joining us live. And have a great week to everyone. Bye, y'all.
Much love.